Hi, everybody. I'm back to talk about being a cult survivor and a cult thriver and how to make a difference in the world. I really want to talk about why my mission is important right now to make a difference for women who have come out of cults and controlling religions. There are literally millions of people who are cult survivors in the world right now. At least 2.5 million, and of those, at least half are women. And how are all these women doing? Dealing with the conditioning that they had, dealing with the control that was put over their minds, their emotions, their bodies, and their spirits. These are a lot of people. And what happens when you leave, for a lot of people, is we don't talk about it. We do not want to be identified as being a cult survivor or having been in a strict religion. We are trying to assimilate into the regular world. We are trying to present as normal, trying to feel normal, trying to feel like we belong. So of course, we're not going to lead with, I have a problem. I was in a cult and I feel weird. We may talk to a psychologist or therapist about it, and they may or may not know how to deal with that. And of course, there are many healing modalities to deal with all that. But the thing is, even after doing a lot of modalities and a lot of processes, we still often find ourselves really limited and really hitting the same glass ceiling, this internal glass ceiling, over and over again. What I believe I can really do is different than what I see that other people can do. I don't feel that I belong. These are some false beliefs that came out of that conditioning. If I don't do it in my religion, it's not right and I shouldn't be doing it. I would not say this with my conscious brain, but there's that part of me that wants to survive, that was born in the religion, that still says it. And I know I'm not alone with this. And I don't discuss it in my everyday conversations. So what happens is that this stuff goes on for years and years, buried, and not even known by the person herself. She may not even know that these patterns and these tapes are running. I know for me, it's taken a long time to unpeel them one by one. More quickly, more recently, because I found some faster methods and a really safe space to do that in. It's important to reach these people. It's important to help them to break through. It's important for people to not be in denial about what the potential is of their lives. And I'm especially speaking to women. Women tend to undersell themselves and undersee their potential and undersee their vision for their lives in general. And having been caught or trapped in a cult or religion just tamps that down even more. What possibilities are open for you? Getting married in the religion, having babies in the religion, maybe working but not getting too involved in that career, not being too ambitious, not being famous, certainly not doing anything that was risque, sexy, bold, outrageous, etc. And certainly in most patriarchal cults and religions, it was not for the woman to create the most wealth in the family or be the most successful. We know this. We deny it once we're out, but boy, does that die hard. It really dies hard. And it's so much easier to stay safe and just do a modest job and make a modest income and just survive and say, hey, I'm glad I'm not in that cult or religion anymore. I'm lucky that I just have this simple life. But what happens when a person is unfulfilled and unactualized? It leads to a low-grade depression. And at times it could even become a higher grade depression. And I know this because I've been there at various times. I've hit bottoms of what am I doing? What is the point of all this? What is the purpose of all this? Because I lost the purpose that I used to have when I was in that religion. They gave me a purpose and I just blew it up. For a while, I thought my purpose was just to stay sober from alcohol and free from compulsive eating, binging, and starving. Well, that's great, and it's very important, but it doesn't really feel like a life purpose to my soul. And that's what happened when I took on coaching in those fields. Same thing with financial freedom coaching. Yes, it's important for me to have money, and it's important for other women to have money, to take care of themselves, of course. But it doesn't feel like the purpose in my soul. It doesn't feel like my calling, and it doesn't feel like my great work. And I'm saying this because I know that there are other women out there who've been out of these religions and cults who still feel that they have not found their great work, and maybe they don't even believe they really deserve to have a great work. Maybe they don't know what that great work is. Maybe they know what they would love it to be, but see absolutely no way for that to happen. All of these lead to depression, to giving up, to not feeling worthwhile, or to have a fulfilling life. And we do deserve a fulfilling life just as much as people who weren't in cults or religions. There's shame involved in having come out of those places. Why would you believe a cult? Why would you listen to people who were so strict and so controlling? I mean, aren't you smarter than that? And there's shame around that once we've left. Never mind the shame that those inside might have imposed on us. So all that leads to a low-lying depression, and certainly limiting ourselves from finding what that purpose is, from stepping into that purpose. Even when we start to step into it, and I shared about this last time when I talked about my book, even when I would come out and start that process, boom, I would cycle back. I would self-sabotage. I would cut it back. I would get sick. I would get broke. This has happened over and over again. It's so frustrating. So this is why this work is important. How do we get past these frustrating barriers? There are ways to get past it, and we don't do it alone in our bedroom. Meditation is great, but we're not just going to do it alone. We need to do it in community with other women who understand and who do not compare, do not judge, are able to actually hold safe growth space for us. And it is real. It does happen. There are women who can do this. People do break through these barriers. People do start to more quickly make a difference for others. And I'm doing it, and I'm not the only one. I believe that there's an ongoing movement, not just believe, I've seen that there's an ongoing movement in religious recovery, cult recovery, recovery from religious trauma, religious abuse, from cultish thinking. And it was harder to find this 20 years ago when I left the cult that I was in. I had to really scrape and scratch to find anybody who wrote about this or spoke about this. And I read the few books that I could find. It's really different now. This is an onward sweeping movement. The scales are falling from people's eyes, and people are reaching out and helping each other, whether it's as a psychologist, as an author, as an online course creator, as a YouTuber. There are many people, and I'm specifically speaking to women, who are making a difference in this field. And you and I can be among those women. I also have a vision of creating a roundtable of women changemakers post-religion and cult, where we actually put our heads and hearts together. And yes, people have come from different religions. Sometimes there's a lack of trust for somebody who came out of a different religion or cult. That can be broken through too. That is another false limiting belief that keeps us separate instead of strong and working together to create change. So I do desire to create such a roundtable. I also desire to create an online summit of women change makers after religions and cults, and to inspire others who wish to do that. So this is why this is important, an onward sweeping movement of circles of women that intersect and expand in their own circles, in their own worlds. I can't reach the Hindu women. I can't reach all the, maybe a few. I can't reach all the Muslim women, all the Mormon women, all the Jehovah's Witness women, people who maybe stay more in those circles. I can't reach many people, but I can reach some, and they can reach others. And we know that transformation happens not alone, but with others. And we also know that the Western woman does have a role with the power that we have. We do have a role in changing the world. And I'm a Western woman, and I want to have a role here And of course, I believe that Eastern women have a big role too, and everywhere else in between. But I do take that seriously. I know that there's a privilege that I have, and I don't want it to be wasted. So that's what's happening. That's why this is important work. And I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. If you see possibility here, if you see power here, if you see movement and change, and what you want to do about it or are doing about it. Thank you so much. I look forward to your comments and to joining with you. Thank you.